right. Hello to everybody. I'm just making sure everything's set up correctly because I have a new desk and oh yeah, I should turn on my light. So everything's kind of still adjusting to everything. Let's see. Okay. All right, hit pause here. I am actually very disorganized today. I have no idea what I'm actually going to work on right now, but we'll figure it out together. Let's see what's happening in core Slack right now. Oh no. Okay, well, any case, today my goal is to work on some WordPress stuff, whatever that is. We are approaching beta 1 for the WordPress 5.6 release. That is supposed to happen next Tuesday, the 20th. So what does beta mean? Beta means that we cannot commit anything that's, children, you can probably hear them. But it means that any feature requests and enhancements that we want to get into the release need to be completed and committed into trunk, the development version. So we probably have a bunch of stuff to do. There is a new default theme that I think is supposed to be committed by the end of the week. What else is there? There's auto updates, I think, are still pending, and yeah, and then any issues that we see. So we merged application passwords last week, so now we have application passwords for use with the REST API. Very much a V1. It works well. I've integrated it in some projects previously, and it does work really well. The auth flow that it has now is pretty cool, where when you're setting up your connection, right, whatever the app, the connection, you give it the URL of the other site that you want to connect to, the WordPress site you want to connect to, and it can redirect you to that WordPress site to log in. And then it generates the application password for you, passes it back to the requester. So you don't ever actually have to go in and add an application password and copy it and get freaked out by the message that says remember this because you won't be able to access it again, and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool. I really like it. So yeah, so let's see how that goes. Everything makes me nervous. Anything around authorization and authentication in WordPress makes me nervous. In anything, right? Because we don't want to have bugs in that. Don't want to have bugs. Don't want to have security issues. So, yeah. Let's see what's going on. I have a lot of stuff to work on. So if we take a look at good old core track. Oh, let me minimize this so I'm actually focused on what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm lucky that almost all of my stuff is open source work, so even if you see it, it's fine. Everybody can see it. So yeah, I should probably go through these commit candidates, especially things that are marked as enhancement, and try to get those in. Yeah, and feature request. So take a look at these, I think, is what I'll do for now. It's very tempting to kind of do an ad hoc scrub here, but we would only have about 25 minutes before there's a new contributor meeting. Is there a new contributor meeting? On the 2nd and 4th Wednesday. Yeah, this is the 2nd Wednesday. So there's a new contributor meeting in 20 minutes. So I don't really want to start an ad hoc bug scrub here just because I don't want to make it really noisy and get lost. But we can take a look at some of these things that are kicking around. So let's go back to something that I did on one of my previous streams. Where is that one? This UI issue on navies. So let me refresh this. So 5 days ago, this came up in the accessibility bug scrub. Decided to wait on punting for another week in case someone wants to try the JavaScript approach in time for 5.6. Don't think this is a JavaScript approach, but maybe let's work through it since, you know, it's been 3 weeks, nobody else has picked up on it. I have a pretty clear idea of what's going on here. So first we need to make sure that my local is up to date. Okay. I don't have any issues, right? Okay, so it's been a while. The thing is, like, I don't. This kind of drives me nuts. That the only way to run it in dev is to like have it set to the watch thing. I guess I could split this. Okay, I guess it has to install something. Why? While I wait for that to actually do its thing, maybe eventually. Also, let me know if this is actually like visible enough to you. My font is on the small side and my screen is pretty large, so I feel like on stream it's probably somewhat small. Just let me know. I could bump up the font, I guess. Oh, that zooms the whole thing. I don't like that. I'm not gonna do that. That was too much. Oh my gosh, that looks so bad. Anyways, it's building. Since it's gonna run the watch, I'll let it stay watching over here, and then over here I'll. What does that mean? Why is there stuff? Small but visible. Yeah. I've seen some streams where people like have more of a, I don't know. I think they put more effort into like setting each of these things as like a separate source on on their OBS setup, so that you can like zoom in and whatever. But like, I don't know. I'm still figuring it out, and so you're actually just getting my entire screen shared to you. Wow, that doesn't need to be there. So yeah, so that's what I've like D&D on, hopefully. Okay. I don't know why. Oh, I see. So my pack, I don't like that. Okay, so it's still running the build here. Yay. Hi, Aaron. Thanks for subscribing. I'm still figuring out all this Twitch stuff, but I made some. I wonder if I could make like a custom founder badge. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm a Twitch affiliate now, which means that you can subscribe to my channel, which, you know, I guess will eventually route me some of Jeff Bezos' money, especially if you do it through like your Prime subscription. So if you have Amazon Prime, you get like one Twitch subscription included in it. You get to like renew it monthly, but which just means like you go to Twitch and you know, hit resubscribe or whatever. But yeah, it's kind of like, okay, if you all have subscriptions anyway and you're not using it on somebody else, then give me Jeff Bezos' money, and if it actually adds up to something where they actually start paying it out, because I think it's a pretty high threshold, probably end up donating some of it. All right, this is my job, so kind of feels weird to be like double dipping, but it's cool. It works out. It'll be like shoe money, right? It's the eternal joke with me, is that I love shoes. Okay, so I think my environment is not started. Let's see, localhost 88. Nope. npm run and start. Right? I think that's the command. It's kind of weird. So like I'm using the WPN stuff for trunk because like I want to just use everything that's in there, but I use our own like setup WP local Docker for like everything else. So okay. All right, so what we're working on here, I'm gonna open all the screens that this affects. Where it affects menus, when you're, let's start with the adding menu, create a new menu. I always forget where this is located. Okay, so this is where it's outlining this in red. And then we have simultaneously the same problem where that's right, I was ignoring this. So the custom links, which will, okay, so maybe we'll also open menus again. So we're here and we have custom links. And I think there was another issue. Oh, this. Edit category. I'm gonna ignore that for the moment and then come back to, well, maybe I'll open it and just make sure that, like I don't break it by accident while I'm in here. This is if I edit this. Okay. So that's the issue there. Okay, so the current patch does this thing, which I didn't like because it was taking like a subtractive approach instead of addressing maybe not like the full base issue, but really like not making it so that in the future when you look at this, it's like, why is the selector set up this way? And you know, like I don't know, that kind of stuff is really hard to figure out, so you end up having to like dig through commits and then dig through the screenshots attached to the issue associated with the commit, and it's just like it's a lot of overhead for something that realistically should not be broken if it's initially structured correctly, right? So like I should not have to do this like not thing, especially with like an ID selector, like not button. It kind of makes sense, but having like not with the ID, and because it takes over from these more general selectors, everything about it just feels really wrong. And I said I was going to write a blog post about it, which is like something that I should do. Hopefully soon. There's something else that like I really need to get done in the next couple weeks, so I've kind of put it off. But yeah, and then this was adding required equals required. So what I said in my comment, yeah, so this, I don't want to like roll this into an accessibility issue, just because like, not that we shouldn't fix that part so much as just if we can get really lost in like, you know, let's fix all these other issues that are like not even actually related code wise, but just are things that we noticed while we were looking at this. It's a really easy hole to fall down, and like I'm super guilty of doing that. which I think is why I'm so mindful of it. So I just want to, yeah. So let's not add a bunch of specific not selectors, but rather let's add .form required to the appropriate form inputs and use existing naming. It does need testing. The initial approach should be to add form required to the specific inputs, that it should be highlighted, and add form invalid form required, a border to forms.css. Okay, so let's give this a shot. So first and foremost, I need to find out, where is this? So maybe the first thing I want to do is just search for the create menu string. Maybe here. Yeah. Yeah, so here we have menu name, and this was in that original patch, right? Yeah, net 64. So require equals required. So that's correct for, I'm going to leave the PHP echo at the end actually. So required equals required. And then we want to add this class form dash required, right? So then what it becomes is, oh my gosh, I have way too many things open here. Hang on. Let me close all this other stuff. It's doing a lot of investigation into starter content, which we can talk about, and also when we were talking about that embed stuff, which I'm still really unhappy about, but nothing doing at this point. Okay, so form required, and then in forms.css, I want to look for, first and foremost, what is the deal with this selector? There's actually nothing that just targets that. So it kind of feels like this should really be not the input, but like we should be targeting everything that has, oops, JK. Yeah, it feels like this should really be form invalid. So this is going to be, this is probably going to have knock-on effects, huge knock-on effects. Ooh, what happened here? We also have some cool stuff going on with CI. All right, so I'm gonna do this right now. But you see, like you can chain these. Sometimes, like you put form invalid on form required. God, why? I don't know. Let's go find out. Let's go find out what kind of terrible things I'm doing here. Okay. If I refresh this, no. Now it doesn't do it. Oh no. It's an idiot. Okay, so this should be form required. Okay. Yeah, see? Now that's more correct. And to me, semantically, that seems more correct. Is that the required item is the individual form input, right? And the form invalid applies to like the entire form. So wait, let me think about this. Yeah, because the form invalid applies to the entire form, and there's really like, and then you're only applying, maybe I have this backward. Let me think about this. Form required is the item itself, but then you have to we mark the entire form as invalid. That's what's super weird. I just think it's really weird. So we say like the whole form has problems, and then we highlight every required item. My opinion is this is still better than doing it for every input. I guess it puts it like, let me think about this. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I'm trying to think of where else we have. Okay, let's open this. The validate form finds form required. Any visible inputs are empty. And adds form invalid to those items. What? So where is this one of the ones where we're doing validate form? Oops. Okay. So I guess where does form invalid get? I see. So this, in this case, it does not apply to the whole form. And then we have this issue where it is applying to the whole form. So that's kind of wacky. And then what did they say about the... Okay. So not button. I still don't understand what this... Okay. And then on the menus one, the other thing we could do is, instead of applying form invalid to this whole thing, we put it on. Oh no, that's the only thing that's wrapping it. Okay. So I still think it's, I mean, this JavaScript is only tied to form required. Yeah, because that's what we really care about here, right? Is like, yeah. Is the required items. Yeah, so I had to add form required to these. So let's see, that's custom menu. Where is that custom menu item URL? Ooh. Oh, nav menu number. Okay. So these also should have classes of form required. I may be going down a very bad path here, but we'll find out. I feel like I probably have this backward in my head, but it's hard for me to know. Okay, if I go here, now this is working correctly. So that seems correct to me. It's like you only want to highlight required items, right? Because the overarching div or container, I guess, that contains those items can have multiple inputs, but we only want to highlight the ones that are required. The problem is actually, this is not something that we need to fix in this, is that it actually highlights any required field as errored, even if it's not actually empty, if you have multiple of those in the same in the same wrapping container. So that's more of like we have a structure problem, which maybe we leave there, because then truthfully what we should be doing is, instead of, I don't know why this is even written this way, instead of floating up to that div to mark it as invalid, we just don't do that. Okay, so this one in this case is indicating that they're chained, right? So they both apply to this. So I guess that would make, so I guess we would want to add those as selectors where they're actually chained together. Okay. Oops. Oh, I see. It has to be on the input. Okay. So in this case, then, I guess we can do that. So this is really adding to what was there previously, right? Form invalid. I'm gonna let them chain though. Let's see, this is correct now. Okay. So the actual diff of this so far, package, why? I have never understood this. I don't know if anybody watching understands this, but sometimes you get package.json changes, but they're just changing from HTTP to HTTPS. So it's like just noise, and I don't understand why that happens. I don't know. Okay, so here we can see that, because these are all like one-liners and very messy to see, but you can see we have form required added here, form required added here, form required, and required equals required added here. I'm still not clear on what that really means, but I guess it's for assistive technology. Maybe in JavaScript too we use it, I don't know. Find out. Form invalid, space, form required. So this is when I put form required inside of the broader item. And then when they're actually chained, and then the input that's inside of it. That seems to cover these cases, right? Because here, this is the form required inside of the form invalid, so the chained ones don't apply to it. And then same thing here. And these are now both marked as required, because I think they are. I don't think that you can add one with empty link text, can you? Oh, you can. Oh, because it like adds it for you. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so it covers these two. So this still has this issue, but that's seems separate to me. I don't even know like how that's happening. Should I look after? I wonder if it's like, oh, here. It's getting put on the TD. Okay. So how come it gets misaligned here, but it's fine on like users? Let's see. Yeah, see, on users it's okay. So why is that? This is the TD after. Okay. Why is this one wrong? What? I don't understand this. Like, why? Well, okay, so it's positioned down there. Do we need to explicitly position it? That seems kind of weird. What? Oh, I see. Okay, so margin. Can it be relative? Oh my goodness. Okay. And you can't position. Table cell is gonna have bad effects. Yeah, so they're having a contributor meeting. I'm gonna try to ignore the bleeping. Actually, let me turn off preferences. How do I snooze notifications? Pause notifications for 1 hour. Okay. I finally put WordPress Slack in a browser window instead, so that so I can still leave my regular Slack open on the other side. Okay. I 100% don't understand what's going on here, but I haven't broken it, so I guess that's better than nothing. This is the description. Oh. You know what? Yeah, probably. Let's turn this off. So what if I like didn't hit that? Yeah. Sure is. Good call. So we clearly have something bad going on here. It should be on the input, right? Because like it's supposed to go inside the input. So like, why did we put it on the table cell? I don't know. Maybe it didn't used to go inside the input, but now it seems like that's the idea. So like, why? I don't know. Like I said, that's an issue it's not actually been broken by the same thing. It's a separate issue, so it should be fixed and discussed separately, because otherwise we'll get lost forever, you know. Good call, good troubleshooting. Also, like, to be honest, like, this probably was not caught previously, because like, who is doing that? Like, who is going in to edit a category name and then deleting this and trying to save it? Like, I don't know. There's no workflow that doesn't ever happen, but this seems particularly edge casey to me. So, okay, so that's working. I don't know if there's some other scenarios that we should be testing, but the common ones seem fine. I have no media items. Okay. Hang on, let me move these out. Okay, that's a media item that I can throw in there. Screenshot from a slide deck. Here we go. I don't know what just happened. Okay, so if I go to edit more details, oh, this doesn't have anything in here that's gonna like yell at me. What if I delete that? It just doesn't let me. That's right, because like, it's kind of a weird bug that we have. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what other places to test and like default. It like lets me just save that. That's kind of wacky. It doesn't yell at me there. What if I go to like, no, it doesn't prevent me from doing that. Doesn't prevent me from doing that. I just feel like there's not really a whole lot of places where it's actually tags, lists. Okay, which one has something in quick edit that's required? Not that, apparently. Nothing. Gosh, I don't even know. Does it apply to like if the name is required for this term? Okay, did that do it? No. It doesn't have that form invalid stuff. All right, so that gets handled totally differently. Cool. WordPress, love it. I don't know if there's anything else kind of like, oops, let me cut that. Oh. So you can leave it without an email? That's kind of wacky too. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. Jeez. Adding to a GitHub PR that is open against the ticket, but you don't have push access to the fork. I'm reading it in the new contributor meeting. Yeah. This is an eternal problem. How do you collaborate on pull requests in GitHub without having to give everybody push access, you know? Yeah, so this is something that, yeah, this is an internal issue. So like you can't really collaborate on PRs without various people having push access to different things. So it's a lot of like permissioning to have to manage, and so that's asking a lot from people, right? It's like, here, manage your permissions just so that somebody may or may not like collaborate on a PR with you. And whereas like when you have patch files, they're just files, right? So you download it, you can upload a new version of it. In a PR-based method, like you have to open a whole new PR. You can do it, you know, in a way that preserves the other person's commits so that they get like the commit credit and whatever in Git land. But yeah, there's no real way to like be like, okay, I want to take over this PR. Yes, and you can do it preserving duplicate commit history. It's opening a new PR instead of keeping all work plus review all one. So like it's fine to have multiple PRs against one issue, right? Like if they're way different approaches. But yeah, like and especially because if we start looking at like a Git based workflow, it's like how do we make sure that everybody gets the credit that they want to have? Because like we have our own way of doing props, right? And I think that that's a really powerful thing, is being able to give credit beyond just the code commit, right? So we have our own props and we parse those, and that's how we build our credits. It does not come from like who's doing the actual commits. But yeah, you know, a lot of people want that commit credit on their GitHub, right? And that makes sense. Like in like a, you know, when we're talking about like centralized repo hosting. So with that kind of gamification. So yeah, yeah. So it's yeah, I don't know. I know I'm on NDA for a lot of this, but there's some stuff GitHub's working on, you know, sort of in this area, but not related to like actual PRs. So it's just like an existing problem, I guess. I guess the other thing you could do, no, everything requires like push access. Yeah, you can like, and you could do like a PR to somebody else's branch, but it's just like John said here, it's like PRception. Yeah, so that's something that I really works for small things like cooling style fixes. So this is a place where it's like, you know, what is still good about using, not the subversion part, actually the subversion part doesn't matter, but what is still good about using something like track? Yeah, and so file-based patches, unfortunately, ends up being one of those things. So, I don't know. I don't know what the solution to that is. Would love to know if somebody else has any thoughts on that. I'm trying to find if there's like another place. I'm like too afraid to delete this thing. Okay. Like, am I gonna lock myself out? No. I'll do this one. No. Okay. So this is validation on the server side. It's not doing it on the client side. Okay. Okay, well that's my diff. I wanna revert this stupid package lock. Okay, so SVN revert package lock. Okay, let's look at an SVN diff. That means the same thing, but so like I can do a git diff here. And you can see they're really the same thing. They just have a little bit of different header stuff going on here. Yeah, these are the same. Okay, so this CSS and then those changes, right? So I now need to attach this to this ticket. I have something that does this, so let's see if it still works. No. Okay, how come it doesn't have my authorization? Well, let's see. I'm gonna have to do this in another window because I don't know what's in my bash. So hang on one second. So attach patch, right? Aha. Okay. So I have this little thing. So this is supposed to go through XML RPC in track and upload a ticket attachment. Yeah, sure they will. Yeah, so you make like a temporary attachment, get the ticket ID from our usage. So I have an alias to A. You could put like attach or whatever, but I made it A because I used to do this so often. Get the ticket ID, and then what are we doing here? Yeah, and so you use XML RPC to like put the patch file. However, say 401 authorization required, and I don't know if that means that like, you know what? I remember this. I think, wow. This is the string attached to it. Ah. It's no longer over HTTPS. Let's try it. What? I saved it. Okay. How do I see? Oh. Look. Debugging. Okay, it is getting in here. Okay. So I made that change, and it's saying, ooh, access to this item is restricted. Only allowed to be used by Subversion. Yeah. And I'm worried because I don't want it to you know what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna maybe set my own item. I'm doing something super weird here. All in the name of being lazy. Can I new password item? Okay, let's try it again. Aha. Okay. Okay, it worked. Okay, that was terrible. I added an item in my keychain for this. Whatever. Okay, so now it's saying this is, oops. Here's my diff file. Okay, so this is what I did. I put A for attach patch. You can call it whatever. That's what I have it alias to. And then the ticket number, and then it creates a diff file and it uploads it. The reason why it doesn't have any appended numbers. So here you see like 50686.1.patch, whereas mine just says .diff, is because it has a different file ending. If I were to upload another patch using the diff file extension, then it would automatically append .2 to it. That's a track feature. So it's pretty sweet. Yeah. So now I have my diff file attached to the ticket. Okay, so now let's refresh this. Okay, so attachment, mine. I love this autocomplete. You implement it on track, it's so much nicer. Is, I think a solution could be, given what's currently in place. I tested in a few spots and didn't notice any new breakage. Basic idea here is that when form valid and form required are on the same element, which is the generic case currently in places like date category and head user. Just talking to myself here. Add user. Same element. Hello, hello, hello. Working on WordPress. What am I talking about here? The border continues to be applied to any input select elements contained within an element. The new addition is nesting form required inside form invalid, which patch adds to the nav menu screen, and then applying the border only to the required element itself. Okay, so the issue on the edit category screen where the alert icon is out of place turns out to be due to the p.description underneath and the fact that we are applying as an on the T instead of the input. I think that's probably left due to not previously being styled is inside the input, but it seems to me that now that you could potentially have multiple input selects inside the TD. I kind of hope not. We're correct to attach that icon to the input select at this point. That would be better addressed in the new ticket, or since it's not actually a component of this specific issue. And we're testing for these required elements that I may have missed before committing this. Okay. So I'm going to change it to has patch. Needs testing. I don't think this is actually truly an accessibility issue. But I don't know, maybe it is. So that I'll submit changes. Yeah, so now I've done this. I've left a comment. It gets sent to my email. Yeah, so that's my process for patching and attaching a patch. Attaching a patch only works if you have permission specifically to use XML RPC on track. That is not just a generally open endpoint to anybody with track credentials. So for most people, you would want to like create the diff file locally. So it'd be like sen diff, and then you put like, I would put it on like my desktop or something, right? And then or I could put it in like, oh, fine. So yeah, so you could like create something like that, right? And so then you end up with your diff file in here. And then on the ticket, you would get, here, attach another file. Yeah, and you don't have to rename it. Like you don't have to keep track of the numbering each time. If you're creating a new patch, you just keep the same diff name, and then track will append the dot, whatever revision number for you. So, oh, that's cool. Somebody's actually looking at WordPress iOS issues. Yeah, I don't know what to do with the PR thing. That's like an eternal GitHub problem. I need to run to the restroom, so I'm gonna pause this real quick. I'll be right back. Oh, I don't have a be right back. I forgot about that. Okay. I'm just gonna mute it for a second. Be right back. Okay. All right. So that's my process for a patch, and this is why, I kind of move slow. Somebody said the other day, like, something about how I don't commit very often. And it's true, like, I don't commit to WordPress very often. Some of it's like the nature of stuff that I tend to work on, which are, bigger things, and doing a lot of like interim review, and especially like on like how do I feel like UX or UI is going. Still funny to me that those have become like my places in WordPress, because it's definitely not where I started as a developer at all. But I think just being like an extremely picky person sort of generally has kind of landed me there in WordPress land, where there's just this gap of just people paying attention to details for one reason or another. Just nature of volunteerism, right? It's like sometimes you have like gaps in various areas. So at the time that I started contributing to WordPress, there's sort of this gap of people who were UI minded enough to like make their own decisions about UI, and also still like developer-y enough to like create patches and not have their hand held through like either side of the process. So that's pretty much where I landed, was just a picky person who likes things to look a certain way, including myself. Just like something I was kind of make fun of myself for, but I don't know, that's how I feel about myself, right? Is that like I take care of myself because I like myself. So so I just work a lot on this kind of UI stuff, because again, like I'm very picky. And then one of the very first things I did in WordPress, back when like I didn't know enough to be afraid of it, was I was like, let's make some CSS coding standards, and they were basically just like Helen's preferences on CSS that other people more or less agreed to. So it's definitely changed since then, which is fine. It should, things should change. But so it ends up meaning that like I have a lot of opinions about like CSS in WordPress, and so I'm very picky about like what goes in, if I'm the one committing it, because like I see stuff like this and I just think about like, well, how would I feel if I saw this, if I needed to troubleshoot something associated with this code like 6 months from now, and I would just be so confused if I saw something like that. So my preference would be to do something like this, which is also, to be fair, somewhat inscrutable when you don't have the full context, but at least at a glance it makes a little more sense, and it gives us a chance to like leave things sort of related to the way that they currently are, so that in the future, should we more thoroughly address the way that forms are done in WordPress, which is like everybody's favorite request, should we actually do this in the future, we just have like one set of things to worry about, and not these like super weird esoteric selectors. Okay, so I did that. Let's close these windows so I don't have tab litter. I'm a huge person with too many tabs. Okay, so I have these two here. This is up here, 42201. Admin sidebar text length issue. Okay, so latest patch testing, lovely, looks nice. Oh yeah, and I'm in Firefox. I'm not like cross-browser testing some of this stuff. I've definitely been bitten by that in the past, where it's like, I just neglected to test something in another browser and it bit me, because I use Firefox, whereas it seems like a lot of people are using Chrome. I don't know. It seems to catch most things. Here's Ayyy 11. I don't know. Do we even formally support that? Oh, woof. hyphens. Oh, are we adding hyphens? Okay, I guess I will just accept that. Okay, so I want to apply this. No, I want to revert everything. Okay. This is a weird command that I have set up to keep my Git and Subversion in sync now that I figured out what I was doing wrong previously. Okay, so I want to apply this patch. Okay. Did it run the watch task? I don't know. Host 89. Go to admin. Okay, so last time I was doing the bad thing and just testing it by doing this instead of like going in and like actually doing this in PHP. No. Let's do the bad thing. Okay. Surely this is I feel like something's wrong here. Let me see. What does this patch do? Div WP menu name. Yeah, this doesn't have the updated stuff. Let's see. Okay, now it has it. Now it has those changes. So if I go to plugins, the children have really picked a strange day to be behaving this way. Probably can't hear them, but they're doing their kid things. Okay, yeah, that seems good. And then if we do that, that seems fine because it doesn't show any text. And then if I collapse it all the way down, this also seems fine. Great. Looks great. Let's commit it. They're going through good first bugs. I should probably participate in that, but oh, I want to finish this. This is the same problem, right? Yeah, I think this is the same problem. So I'm actually, I don't understand why this didn't get closed as a duplicate in the first place. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna close this. So this is marked as a duplicate of this. Okay, so I'm marking this as a duplicate of this other ticket. And then I want to make sure that all people are getting props. Okay, this person was in both. So that's cool. They're going to get props. Okay, let's see. Admin menu. Better tracking for long new item names. So we have to give props to, I'm going to give them to everybody who contributed here. Yeah, so, because even if we didn't use your patch, like you can see from the last patch that I did, I was just working on it, it takes your time, right? You tried, it takes your time. Even if we don't use it, you know, sometimes your failures at a patch, I shouldn't call them failures, it makes it sound really mean, but sometimes like an unsuccessful patch informs the next better thing that we do, right? Sometimes you have to make the mistakes to figure out like what the right way is. So let's, oops. There's this person who reported this. Okay, and here's a person who, see, it said, okay. These people tested. Let me see. Wait a second. Yeah. I think it was good of people to test as well, because testing helps me figure out what's going right or what's going wrong. Okay, so I think we have to use, when they have a two-part name like that, we have to use their .org slug. Somebody else who was helping test. And again, I'm just super liberal with props, right? Because like anybody who's spending their time coming in, looking at this stuff, helping moving a ticket forward, outside of those of us who like do it, you know, more regularly, I think that, you know, they have earned props for helping move a project forward. I mean, it's gonna be like 1 million props on like, it's a small thing, but whatever. This was the one that I didn't like, but again, you need to try things that are bad sometimes. Okay, so these are frequent contributors, so I'm gonna not worry about that. Here's somebody. Oh yeah. The number counter. I didn't test that. Oh, you see? Look at that. Long list of people. Okay, so what do I need to add comments. So unapprove. Okay. It seems fine. That looks like a circle to me. Still seems fine. That's how it looks in collapse mode. Yeah, still seems fine to me. Okay. I guess I could have just copied this whole thing. Okay. Let's just copy this whole thing again. No, because this person... Okay, hang on. Okay, so let's add more people to the props. See how tedious this is. But you know what? Whatever. This took a long time. A lot of people messed with it. Okay. John James Jacoby helped with getting it the original fix reverted. My goodness. Okay, so who else has been in here? Me. Person's already there. Oops. I'm very bad with the mouse. Pointing out the Ayyy 11 issue, and then more testing from Ebony here. God, let's hope this is finally fixed. Okay. You know, it's like election season. I'm getting phone calls like every 5 minutes. But from my home area code, which I have not lived in like almost 20 years, so I know that they're not actually calling me. Okay, so look at this long list. Fixes these issues, fixes this one issue. It's a tiny change. Oh my god, there's so much crying, and it's for my older child. I don't understand. I don't remember what happened there. Okay, what commit had the longest props list? Yeah, I was gonna say the block editor must have had a crazy long props list. REST API. Yeah, but which REST API commit though, right? Is it like the original like infrastructure one or the content endpoints? I totally forgot that those are like two totally different releases, by the way. Which one of those? Block editor. Have any themes? Like maybe the first theme merge that happened like 2016, right? Because that was like in GitHub. It's probably had a long list. All right. I mean, I think this is more people. This is more than like the size of the patch. It just goes to show sometimes these small things, like they're nasty little fixes. Okay. I'm just gonna send it. I feel like, shoot. Hang on. I'm really worried that there are like other changes in here. Okay, it's fine. So I may have to leave. I have one of my children is panicking, and I'm not really sure what's going on. Let's see. Okay, let's send this. Hopefully I don't break the build. As you can see, I'm not running tests before I commit. It's a very bad habit of mine. This is why I want more automated testing. So as Jonathan and I were talking about earlier today, we're working on moving automated testing to GitHub Actions. Maybe actually be able to get that running this week, and then I will probably start using pull requests more often, just so that the automated tests run and I don't have to run them locally and get my stuff all tied up forever. Okay, did we fix this? I always refresh the ticket and make sure it got like closed. Fixed. On 5/6. Beautiful. I did 2 things. We have 8 minutes until dev chat. Let me refresh this. All right. I don't normally commit bundled theme changes. Yeah, end-to-end tests too. Jonathan, is it okay if we look at your testing PR here on stream? I don't know if, I mean, it's all public, right? But I don't know. Gosh. Maybe I should look at tickets that are owned by me. I don't even know. Look at these things. There's so much in here. Ah, you're committing updates. Sweet. All right, then we can talk about this automated tests. 219 things in here. 21 commit candidates. What is this? Let's go look at these little things. It's basically doing my own scrub by myself. This is what I need to do sometimes as a committer. Nice username, dude. Who is this? All right. Oh, brother. Magic phrase, root cause. I hate this. Before, after. I gotta be honest, I hate this. I hate that it's taking up even more space. Did we get an actual design review? It is, I mean, the placement is changed. It pushes it down. And I'm not convinced that this is like super critical information. Shoot. See, this is why I'm a low volume committer. I'm looking at this tiny thing and most people would be like, yeah, it's fine, commit it. And I'm like, no, I don't like that it pushes it down more. Let me look at the actual patch. Jeez. All this. So this must be nested inside. Viewport rule. Font size. Margin. Okay, so it takes it off the bottom. I don't know how I feel about that. All right, well, let's open John's patch. The patch PR. Oh, we use GitHub Actions for these comments now? Or did you add that? Huh. Okay. You're trying that out in workflow. That's cool. Yeah, it would be good for us to do this for sure. So yeah, I just want to, we can go mess with the text later. Okay. Right. Oh, it's for the first time that a person opens a pull request. Yeah, that makes sense. It makes it much less noisy. Gosh. Okay, so here's all the tests that are running. This is... What? It's running both pull request and push? Or are those the same? They're not the same run? We should not do that. Or I wonder if it's because it's on your... I don't really like that it's running everything twice like that. So we should probably take a look at that. Because we don't need both push and pull requests. On push. Aha. What I would do here... No, so it's because here on push, we need to set shoot. Shows you how good my memory is for this stuff. Push branches. Oops. Yeah, we're still on master, right? Because that's how the syncing works. Yeah. So this is what I would do. Okay, here's something that's been approved, I guess. Throw it up here. And I think we would only want to, I mean, you can do the same thing on pull requests, right? It's like you can, it's okay to define both, but this right now will catch any pushes to any branch. And we only, whereas like the pull request one will check it for any updates to that pull request, which includes pushing to that PR's branch. So we only really need to run it on pushes to the master branch. Pull request event catch the updates to the PR and pushes to that branch. So here, I'm being like extra verbose. It runs from master. I never remember how it works with that. It clearly runs actions out of PR branches, but then it doesn't actually apply to master. So I think we do have to backport it. I think. Master branch. So I'm being verbose because, like, who knows? Yeah, because who knows, like, you know, for the future, so that people can see the process, right? And probably anything in the format. Okay, sounds good. See ya. My change suggestions were just to like demonstrate it, so don't worry. It was just, you know, demonstrating how annotations can help us. But I'll add this comment at least. Oops. Okay, so let me finish this. So you see I can commit the suggestion. Can I? Do you have push access to this? Oh boy. Okay, let's see. So yeah, we want to do the same thing here. No, wrong. What? Let's see. Okay, so same thing here. Same thing here. This makes it just really easy to commit that from the UI. We want to do that. Who is okay? Yeah, that's Peter Wilson. I feel like I don't know if we want to like mention him. I don't know. Hopefully his notification settings are correct. I feel bad, but it's also like, who knows who Peter is, you know? Yeah. So, okay. Okay, so same thing here. Let's see what happens with dev chat today. This is the big one. Okay. Same thing here. We're just getting this double run. It's a problem in Travis too. You end up with these double runs all the time. Travis has a setting that's supposed to handle that. I don't know. I feel like I always misconfigure it. No, you don't need to discuss it with him. I don't know what that means. Okay. Hello. Thank you for following. Look, I have these cute little wapus now. Can you see them? I was gonna make new sounds for Twitch events, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Okay, I think the rest of these are just like random changes. Yeah, so here we have like check warnings, so that's pretty sweet. It's kind of wild. It's like sending it 4 times. Like, why? 1546. Sends it twice per run. There were 2 runs. Seems pretty annoying. What does a Wapuu sound like? It's actually... I don't know. I'm like kind of disturbed, wondering like what does a Wapuu sound like? Oh man. Ooh, look at these. Wow, okay. Piano sounds, maybe piano sounds. I was actually thinking about, yeah, I was actually thinking about like some favorite like song intros. I don't know. I think if it's less than 15 seconds, it doesn't break copyright, right? I don't know. Maybe that's like pushing taking too much of a risk. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. Just reading. Oh, he wants to put out a minor for 5.5. What's going on there? I have too many windows open. Jake is saying he thinks a bug scrub and a release wouldn't be that much work. So you can run that then. Jake. Oh man. What are these? We have this embed freaking thing. My favorite. Yeah. Who is nice stuff? A thread. So what does it look like? Right? See, they don't look that bad. This is what Instagram embeds look like to me half the time anyway, because like the JavaScript gets blocked in my browser. I really should probably just turn that off. Okay, so there are like plugins that do this now. I don't know. That's great that they're doing this, I guess. That's cool. Facebook feeds. But you know, my thought is still people are going to use screenshots in a lot of cases. Honestly, a lot of people are using screenshots as it is, so I want to meet them where that is and let other people who are smarter with these authenticated apps handle that part. That's the beauty of a large open source community. I don't have to pretend that I'm good at everything. I really don't want to do that. So yeah, I don't know. Do any of you have ideas for what kinds of sounds I should use for Twitch? Maybe it should be piano sounds. I don't know. That's what people associate me with. I don't know. Let's see here. Too many things open. Piano sounds, typing sounds. Definitely not WAPU sounds. Again, the idea of that is like slightly disturbing. WordPress 552 Halloween. Oh no. Oh no, we got punned by George. No. I don't even want to say it out loud. I'm very anti-pun. I like wordplay, but not puns specifically. I don't know. Oh, dropped frames detected. I don't have the world's greatest internet here, so if ever you notice things dropping or whatever, just let me know, because I don't know. I don't live in a place with awesome internet. I have decent download, but terrible upload and terrible ping, so that's my reality. Okay, so they want to work on a minor release. Fine. What was I looking at? Okay. Oh yeah. Cool. I love it. Beautiful. This is a beautiful change. Instead of this being a big old button, normal link. What does it look like when you don't have an update? Or would I have a site where I can see that? Oh my goodness. I don't know where I have a site where I can actually see that, because all of these are going to tell me I'm on a development version. What? Isn't that just based on this though? No. Maybe not. Oh, I see. What if I say that I'm using like 5.1? Okay. Yeah. This will be fine. Okay, so I want to apply this patch. Any other announcements? I don't think that. Do we have anything? No. I don't need to take up everybody's time just talking about what we're working on. Okay, so I've applied this patch. Okay, and now I want to do the thing again where I make this 5.5.1. I'm just going to take a screenshot so they can see. Browse desktop. Too much stuff. Interesting, okay. Nice. Oh, I see this didn't just happen, he was linking in here. Sometimes I get confused by that. I attach this screenshot. This patch, no updates are available just for reference. I think that is still better to not have two secondary buttons. Especially without a primary button present. I don't know why we made it a button in the first place. I don't know. You know what? Let's learn how to do code spelunking. You can do this in Subversion. However, GitHub has finally added this view, so let's do it in GitHub because I think it's probably more relatable to more people. Top TikToks. I don't think I'm meme levels enough to use TikTok. Okay, so the change that was made in this patch is in WP admin update core. So you go to source, WP admin, update core. And so what we can do is we can go to blame. And this is the annotated view. And what line was that? 888. Lucky number for us Asians. Okay, 888. What does that even mean? Oh, the WPCS commit. Okay, so what we have here now, view blame prior to this change. So this lets you jump back. Oh, God. Check again. Okay, so here we have it again, the button. We can jump back 7 years ago. My God. Okay. So this is still a button here. Jump back. It may have always been a button. I don't know. A button. Jump back. And it doesn't exist before that. So the reason why I'm doing that is I just want to, if we had previously decided to change it to a button, I would want to be able to justify why we have now changed it back away from a button. Another test scrub on Friday. So if you're into testing WordPress, you can join that. Okay, I also traced back through history, and this was always a button, so no need too worried that we're undoing a previous decision. Momentarily. Okay, so this is changing this to a link. I think it looks great. Add my comment. Check my SVN diff. See, and then I catch, oh yeah, I left this version change in here. Back to SVN diff. On 2021. Okay, so A class button is removed. Looks great. Let's commit it. Updates. Check again. Button, a plain link. Makes the screen far less busy. I mean, this is saying what it's doing. It's more like why. Reduce number of secondary buttons for Google. Let's call it that. Props. 2 GB. We're good. For I feel like my stuff is pinging and I don't know why. Okay. Less visual complexity. I don't know how long is this. 72. Okay. I think I typed those correctly. This is correct. Let's get 2021. Okay, I can close these. Look at me committing stuff. Okay, so this is what they have left for 2021. I always forget these are like, you don't scroll the whole thing. I actually kind of hate that. Like, I feel like even though there's also good in having these be their own scrollable sections, I guess there's a count here. But it makes it harder for me to understand like which things are really long. I just have to look at these counts. Unknowingly move to open floor. Don't know. I don't have anything. Wow. Sergey really wrote a very nice update here. Okay, so lots of breaking changes in PHP 8. Claiming full PHP 8 support without a reliable way to measure it would not be ideal. I think that works for me. So basically, like, we don't have perfect test coverage in WordPress. Shocker. So if we say we have full PHP 8 coverage, that may not actually be true. It's really, the reality there is that none of our existing tests are catching anything that would be broken in PHP 8. So Sergey is saying that they're nervous about claiming full PHP 8 compatibility. I agree. Wouldn't it be great if we had full test coverage? Yeah, but we don't. Yeah. Lots of dev notes to write, though. Yeah. I think something that tends to get left to the end is like what we call dev notes, but these like developer communications, right? So we tend to leave it and we're like, okay, now I'm finally done with this feature and now I can publish the note. And it's understandable because it can be really painful to have to like amend your note. Like if we make an API and then like change the design of it, it's like, how do we communicate that out? We put out the initial communication and it made it sound final. It's really nerve-wracking. But developers have to understand that, and we have to be honest about like things are still subject to change up until like the release is out, but we should be getting this communication out there earlier, right? So, because I think, even without people like testing code, sometimes just reading something you catch like a gotcha, right? So, yeah, PHP 8 would be a breaking change. It's a major PHP release. It's very different from going from like 7 to 7.1. Allegedly. I don't know. There's still some funny changes in there, but in this case, I think we should also do more proactive developer outreach, going to like various sources that various developers read. They're frequently places that like we don't think about, right? Like in the WordPress space, like we have WordPress news publications. I find that extremely funny, by the way. Just, we're such a big project and it makes sense. It's not that like it's invalid or something. It's just like, to me, like, wow, we're really so niche. We have like our own like news sources, but going outside of that, stuff like Reddit, and people who are talking about WordPress on there, who probably are not the kinds of involved people that we know to read, like, I don't know, post status or something. So, tested up to PHP written statements. Okay, I'm gonna let them talk this out. I will say the thing in there. Okay, we get it when you're talking about your own plugin. If you're watching this stream, yes, I'm gonna roast you. I want to say the thing about like, let's be sure to proactively get this out there. I don't want to interrupt this. They're talking about header value. So in WordPress plugins, like we have headers in 2 different files that are parsed for different purposes. That kind of drives me nuts. But we have headers in README and your main plugin file, and in one of them, you have your tested up to versions, and so you can set like a minimum PHP requirement. You can set a minimum WordPress requirement. You can say which version of WordPress it's been tested up to. And so now they're saying like they would like to have a tested up to header for PHP as well. So optional, warn but allow. I don't know. Themes have their own whole other world of problems. This is something that like I think I'd like to put more effort into working on, going forward, especially with what we think blocks are going to be and whatever, is that I want to, just work on the whole theme ecosystem some more. I feel like it's been neglected. I feel like there are some, people clashes in there that make it sometimes like people avoid working in that space. And so, so one thing that I'm working on right now, secretly, it's not secret. Again, all of this is open. You can find it if you know where to look, but it's like not publicized, I guess is the difference. I'm working on the theme previewer site, which is wp-themes.com. Who knows why it's like that, but I think that's a good junction for me to send a message. It's just like real life. It's like sometimes in chat, like you just want to wait a second, just wait for like the right moment to say your thing, because there, even though it's chat and whatever, there's still the concept of like you can be interrupting somebody. Anyway, so. The theme previewer site, I am tinkering with getting it to display starter content and seeing if I can do it within the confines of how it currently works. It may not work. The code there may be so bad that it is not salvageable. I don't know. But I'm going to mess with it and see what happens. And then from there, ensuring that at least 2021, there will not be a process in place for, making sure that, all themes have certain content that we're like comfortable with running on the official theme preview site. Even though, if it's in the theme, supposedly it's been approved by the theme review team. But just trying to get that going and also improve the default demo content on that site, because I don't know, it's just like a manual process. So I have permissions now to do all that stuff, so I've been tinkering with that a bit. That's one of the big things that I've been working on. And then I think after this release goes out, because like I'm the core tech lead for this release, and I'm just facilitating whatever technical stuff needs to happen to make this release the best that it can be. But I think after that, what I'd like to focus on in the WordPress ecosystem, sort of core land, not really core land, is the theme stuff. So what is it going to take to make it so that themes can, to make it so that themes have like actual repositories maybe that they can commit to, that might be, I don't know, that's very contentious, that's very entrenched, right? But how can we make it so that there's like a theme review process that like that actually has tooling and stuff that works well for the theme review team? So like what is the theme review team currently missing from a technical perspective for review? Can we get to a place where we can have theme people, theme developers committing directly to a repository and not do this like zip file submission thing? which is how it currently works. And even like the default themes, and somebody always has to go through and create zips of all the updated default themes and submit them to the theme directory. So that's a huge thing. But are there some things that we can implement in the meantime to help ease that? How can I help the theme review team establish some starter content guidelines? Should we move default themes to their own theme previewer? Multi-site setup, in the meantime, blah, blah, blah. There are a million things. But for the moment, given some constraints, I think that the correct thing to do with time constraints, and because like I have access to certain things, but not everything, and there are not necessarily people with systems access to WordPress.org who are available. And so the current thing that I want to do is see if I can use what I have to make starter content, or at least some type of content scaffolding work, without introducing a whole new core feature, because there's not enough time. But yeah, we'll see. That's one of the things I'm working on. So I have that. I have my own ton-up work to be doing. All of it's on my planner here in front of me. So that's my life, my paper planner. Okay. Who else? What else is going on? I think I'm just like navel gazing by looking at this, but I guess I want to know like what people are thinking. Okay. Ooh. So shots fired. Maybe I need to add some hotkeys for like GIFs or something. This is definitely like a Marrow from Desus and Marrow shots fired situation. We should declare WordPress incompatible with PHP. Where's Aaron Jordan when you need him? Is he even online? Oops. I mean, let's see if Jordan's around. He's, he has like a job, so may very well just be doing his job or doing something else. But who knows? So Aaron Jordan historically has sort of pushed for new PHP version compatibility. And so I'm not actually trying to set up a cage fight or something, although obviously I would be entertained. But in this case, if Omar is saying like we should declare it incompatible, and then we have someone like Jordan who doesn't always have the bandwidth to like participate in all these conversations, because we're talking to some people who have like more like sponsored WordPress time, whereas I think Jordan does not. And he's taken a step back in some ways, but yeah, since he's usually the one pushing on it, and we even have a little emoji that's really for him, because Jordan always wears a bow tie. Mixed type stuff going on in core, breaks, yeah. My sense is that we're gonna have a bad time with this. And probably until we like truly do not support 5.6. Like until WordPress like fatals in 5.6, I'm not sure that we can even be PHP compatible, which is something that someone just said to me in a DM as well. So I'm having a lot of dropped frames. What can I do about that? I don't know. Maybe I just have like too much stuff going on here. What if experienced contributors pair with new contributors work on particular tickets / issues? Sorry, there's like a thread. Let me see. Okay. Can't believe they call it markups. Pairing people with each other. Yeah. I mean, pairing with people is very powerful. I think we have purely a bandwidth issue. It's like, we barely have the bandwidth to like review and commit patches. So like this is like an internal issue. It's like, yes, let's make it easier for people to contribute, but we cannot make it easier for people to contribute if we're just going to end up leaving them frustrated because we can't manage the volume of contributions, one argument against that is that like by making it easier, we should be able to see like higher quality contributions and clear out some of the older stuff more quickly. I don't know if that would really be true. But obviously, ideally, yeah, we would pair people up. I don't know. It's also like a time issue, and this is also like an issue right now because like a lot of that stuff historically has been done at contributor days at WordCamps. It's like the local-ish WordPress events. A lot of them have contributor days where you can show up and work on something related to the WordPress project, not just the core software, but like events or planning or whatever. Translations is a big one. But we don't currently have those. And that's historically been a really great place for people to get paired up and work on something together in real time, etc. Gonna commit the technical implementation after every tech review. Okay. So this is the major core release auto updates. Well, you have until Tuesday. So, now they're talking about translating dev notes, which is a fair point. Maybe those need to be translated. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, some people are like very welcoming of DMs too. I am not. For a number of reasons. One is that like I don't scale, and the other is that unfortunately, as a woman, especially in this space, I just don't. There's actually a lot of power for me in keeping communications in group contexts, right? I fundamentally, philosophically also believe that communication around an open source project should be as open as possible. So an open process to go with your open source, right? Which I've talked about at various points in the past. But on top of that, there is, oddly, maybe not oddly, but, there's very low underrepresented. I mean, using the word underrepresented is kind of like, yeah, duh, by definition of using the word underrepresented, but we have a lot of underrepresented groups in open source participation. And, there are many reasons for this. But in contrast to that, I actually like that things are open, at least when you have an open process, is that these things are happening in the open. So I'm not, people ask me sometimes, like, or maybe not ask, but they sort of assume that like I receive a lot of like harassment and nonsense on the internet, and I do see nonsense, and things that like I am reasonably certain happen because of gender or appearances or whatever. However, because we discourage like closed communications, I don't get very much of that like somebody is DMing me all the time kind of situation. I really don't get that. So I don't know, and I know that it does happen to people. Maybe not in the WordPress space, but like I don't even get it on Twitter, and my DMs are open. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. And I'm also terrifying, I guess, but I'm trying to be like friendly on stream, because the stream is about like, inviting people into this space where like I am just a professional and I want to get my stuff done, and encourage people to be a part of this process. And I love, the open source side of things, whether you want to debate free versus open source, but I do love that side of things, and I really want to be like legitimately welcoming, but as a person, like I'm extremely intense and I'm aware of it. So yeah. Oh, sorry, I lost track of my window with chat. Full site editing. Yeah. Running Gutenberg on the front end of .org. Wouldn't that be kind of crazy if we had like theme demos that allowed you to edit them? That's actually, maybe that's something to try for. All right. So for a dev that doesn't have too much time, do I recommend taking small tickets issues on track, maybe a certain tag? Yeah, so I think it depends on like what you like to work on. If you really like to work on, like CSS or JavaScript, or like a specific language area or component area, then you can take a look through anything. I would say anything in the current milestone that says it needs a patch, and see if there's anything in your wheelhouse. Otherwise, what I always advise people is that testing patches, sometimes refreshing patches, and reproducing issues, especially when they're like vaguely written, right? And so like writing out reproduction instructions, like testing instructions, that sort of thing, those are hugely valuable because not a lot of people put their time there, but they help immensely in terms of keeping momentum going. So like if you test a patch and you're like, hey, this works great here, or if you test a patch and you notice that it's not working a certain way, you can, again, especially if it's a diff file, you can edit that patch and then keep it moving, make a new version of that patch. That's the kind of thing that like we end up missing when we go into like a PR based workflow, is that there's much less of an opportunity for anybody to jump in and do a review and whatever. It's really not, PRs do not scale to many contributors. So yeah, that's the thing that, like that small CSS change that I committed that had like, whatever, like 20 people propped on it or whatever. Like, how do you create that kind of iterative environment in a pull request context, right? That seems much harder to me. So I don't know. But yeah, you can look for things that bother you. That's how I got into contributing to WordPress, was like I saw something in the admin, like a miscolored border, I think, and was like, this looks bad. So I just fixed a thing that was bothering me, so yeah, it can be anything. It's whatever motivates you, and you can try different things too, right? So it's whatever motivates you to get something done, whether that's like the feeling of helping somebody clear out a report of tickets, right, or a list of tickets, or if it's fixing something that you saw. So whatever makes you feel like you're accomplishing something, because then you're more likely to follow up on it and feel invested in it. Automated maintainers post proposal. I don't remember saying that this should be automated. Okay, I'll take a look at this. Yeah, so we're gonna do a thing on Make Core where each week we prompt people for their updates, because meetings should not be status updates. It should just be to get unstuck. So do this instead. We used to have it so that everybody, at least like in the release setting, everybody who was working on a major feature within that release had to post weekly updates. And they had like a scheduled day so that you wouldn't get like inundated with everybody's updates on one day. We don't do that as much, although Gutenberg does post weekly updates. And some other ones do too as well, I guess. But we want to be able to get those from components without having to take up, dev chat time from who knows how many people go to dev chat these days. So yeah. Are we almost done with dev chat? I feel like dev chat used to run super long, but it was more that like, maybe because we were more developer driven previously. I was gonna try to come up with like a time period, but previously a lot of our process would be developer driven as opposed to like design driven or process driven. And so a lot of our dev chats would just be, I don't know, end up in a hole of like developers debating developer things, which sometimes was fun, but then you'd end up in like a 2-hour long dev chat. And it was just like, I have a life to get back to. It's my job, it's my work, but I also have a life that I would like to live and not spend my whole day arguing with men in IRC. It's not what I want to do with my day. Anything else that we would like to talk about concerning the release? Can I get an overview of what else is left to go in before what? My understanding is 2021 and major core auto updates. Who are you messaging me? Oh. Okay. Being asked if it would help if somebody actually did a roundup of like remaining items from every day, which is I can find out. Okay. Okay, I need to test widgets as blocks then. Let me write that I should probably do that like tomorrow. Test widgets as blocks. Oh, brother. That seems bad. There's entire classes of widgets that just aren't working on the screen still. Okay, so I see three major remaining things. We have 2021, which is a new default theme. Major core auto updates, which is relatively minor, but they're still working on design, so I'm a little like, it's so late. Why are they saying design might not be ready till Monday? Let's see. And then this widgets blocks. Okay. Yeah. Again, this is I was just saying this to somebody, but this is sort of, I do legitimately want to make sure that I am not confused about what is left to go into WordPress 5.6, but also it's a method of getting people thinking about the bigger picture, remembering what's left, remembering these big items, putting it all together, and also confirming, keeping people, in the know, all of that. So, and also, like, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Like, I don't know. I'm an idiot. I ask dumb questions all the time. I'm like not paying attention to something at just the wrong moment. I have no idea what's going on. So, my priority for the next 6 days is to make available and people are really stuck on in those major areas. Otherwise, I'll be working through various track queries related to 5.6 and attempting to polish as possible. And I encourage other vendors to be doing this. So yeah, so this is something that a meeting is good for, is I'm stating, this is what I'm up to, this is what I think other people should be doing in relationship to that, right? That's not like a status update, it's a, hey, we're all in a meeting, you are paying attention right at the second, here's what I'm saying. Oh, what is the status of jQuery? Lord. Okay, I have to leave this open. Ooh, okay. I'm not typing, I'm fast. Yeah, so running ad hoc 5.6 scrubs. So we have like scheduled scrubs for releases and components and stuff. But that doesn't mean that you have to wait for those scrubs to get stuff done. At any point I could show up in this channel and be like, hey, I'm working on tickets. And again, in the spirit of being transparent, in the spirit of sharing the process, instead of keeping it to myself, I just brain dump into this core channel saying like, hey, I'm working on the stuff, just so you know, because people will know if you start committing stuff. They'll see the commits, so give you more context about what you're doing. If people can join in, which sometimes happens, and that's really helpful too. So yep. No need to be confused. Cool. Thanks. I think I'm dropping frames like crazy because I have too much stuff open. I don't think it likes Slack in the browser, to be honest. I may have to rethink that strategy. I'm just navel gazing again. Okay, so that's the end of dev chat. I need a snack. And I have a lot of other things to go work on. I have some 10-up stuff that I actually need to focus on probably for a little while. So I'm gonna hit offline, I think, for a bit. Yeah. Let me see. How long have I even been? Almost 3 hours. Okay. So yeah. I hope that this was fun for people. Again, you can subscribe to me now. That's pretty cool. I don't know what it means for people yet, except that you'll be supporting me and potentially another charity, if there's enough people to do that, because I'm an affiliate now. Yeah, I think let's. There's only a few people in here, but yeah, thanks for joining me on stream. Let's see. Let's raid a channel. Who is online right now? Who maybe you would want to watch? I'm going to send you to a keyboard streamer. I am not sorry. I'm going to send you to Ayyy. Send you to a keyboard person. I'm going to end up with. I can put emoji. Yeah, there are some. Let's see. Am I allowed to? Can I not use my own emoji because I'm not my own subscriber? What? I added some custom emoji for subs. So you can subscribe and find out what those are. Hopefully those are working out. I'm gonna go triple check after this, but yeah, let's, I'm gonna send you over to another keyboard person. And I will probably have lots of keyboard stuff to play with and build also on stream, maybe in about a month and a half. So no, yeah, month and a half. So, all right, until next time.